Hello everyone, it's Michelle Lupton here, and today I'm sharing a card that I made for Craft Roulette. Episode 166 was on this morning, Melbourne time. So I wanted to join in. Now, I specifically wanted to join in this week because I was actually meant to be the guest on Craft Roulette this week, but my mum is in hospital at the moment, so I asked Mary if we could postpone, and everybody got really lucky because she got Christopher Allen on instead, and he made the most amazing card. So hopefully I'll be a guest on Craft Roulette sometime soon. Anyway, the parameters for today's card were the project was small bag. Now, I didn't have a bag on my card, but I have an image of a bag on my card, which you can see. I'm stamping out these little images and cutting them out. These are from Lawn Fawn, from a very old stamp set called Plus One. I keep it on hand specifically for baby cards, and coincidentally enough, I need a baby card this week. The element to be used was wheel, and as you can see, the little pram on this image, one of the images that I've stamped out, of course, has wheels on it. The colours are rainbow, so I've done a pastel rainbow, using some Distress Oxide inks. And then the random element was shimmer, and I'm going to be adding some shimmer to my background. So let me just show you how I'm going to make this card. So I started off with the images because I knew I wanted to have the sack that the stork is carrying. And of course, it's a little sack 'cause it's got a baby in it, and the wheels from the pram. And I thought, well, I don't want to have just those two images, need three images. So I just chose one of the other images from this stamp set. And I was originally planning on doing a rainbow in the background with a cloud stencil and just have it all over the background. But then I thought, I don't want that much colour. I've made a few cards recently that are very much in your face, lots of colour. And I wanted a bit more white space, so I decided to cut some circles using my infinity dies from Hero Arts. And I'm going to be placing those images on top of those cut circles, but I'm going to do some ink blending behind the circles. So this is my card base that I'm just taping to my work surface here. I masked off the edge of it because I didn't want any of the colour to actually show through on the sides of the card. So I've chosen a rainbow of Distress Oxide inks to use here, nice pastel rainbow. So I've started off with some shaded lilac in the bottom corner, and then I've had some broken china. Now, I recently got a whole lot of re-inkers for my Distress Oxide inks, and some of them I've probably added a little bit too much. I went a bit overboard with the re-inking, and so some of them are coming out a little bit more intense than I wanted. So I'm going over them a few times just to sort of smooth them out a bit, but that's a good thing about Distress Oxides, you can do that. So what colours have I got? Shaded Lilac, Broken China, Cracked Pistachio, then I'm right now using the Squeeze Lemonade. Then in the top circle, I'm going to have Dried Marigold and Worn Lipstick. And you can see that I'm using my ink stand to keep my ink pads from moving all over my work surface. I started off without it, and then I realised, that's what you're missing, making life too difficult for yourself. The worn lipstick is another colour that I'd added a bit too much, but I was planning on adding some Perfect Pearls over the top. So I knew that it didn't really matter if the colours were a little bit blotchy, because adding the Perfect Pearls with water is, one, it's going to blend the colours a little bit more with the water, but it's going to add a blotchy element anyway with the splatters of the Perfect Pearls. So it didn't really worry me that my initial ink blending was a little bit blotchy. Okay, so now I've pulled out some Copic markers, and I'm doing some really, really simple Copic blending. I decided I wanted this card to be for a little boy. because a friend of mine has just recently given birth. I think the baby's 1 week old today, or maybe yesterday. So I didn't want it to be super pink and cute and everything, but I really didn't want it to just be all blue. So I decided to go with sort of a blue-green colour for most of these. But of course, the stalk I'm going to colour in grey. The stalk's beak is in a very pale orange, and the stars and the moon I've done in yellows. All right, but all the rest of the elements, including the pram and the top of this little mobile, I'm doing in some blue-greens. Now, because I know that a lot of people like to know exactly what Copic markers I'm using, I will actually show you in a minute which ones I'm using. All right, so what can I say right now? I watched Craft Roulette today, and I didn't actually catch all of it. I missed the beginning of it, but I did sort of join in right when Mary and Christopher were starting to make their cards, and I'm always amazed at the variety that people come up with Craft Roulette. It's so much fun, and it just shows you the creativity that is out there in our crafting community. And it's, awesome to see. For example, Christopher did an interactive card, which I'm kind of allergic to interactive cards. I'm really not good at them. I just prefer my cards to be like super simple. Anyway, there's the Copic colours that I used today. So a very, very small palette there, but added enough colour for me. Now, I wanted to actually cut out the inner bits here of this mobile for two reasons. One, I wanted a bit more of the background colour to show through because this is going to be setting over the top of some ink blending. I didn't want that these white pieces to get in the way of seeing that ink blending. But also, if you guys watch Craft Roulette today, you would have seen that both Mary and Christopher used their craft knife expertly, might I add, and I'm not really good at using my craft knife, so I thought I'm just going to prove to myself that I can do it. And you can see I didn't do a very good job. I had to yank that piece out. But yeah, at least I had a go, and that's the important thing about Craft Roulette. I think Mary will agree with me. Is it's not about how good or how complicated or anything about your card, it's just that you have a go. And here's me having a go at using my craft knife, which I'm not really comfortable, especially on these little rounded bits. What was I thinking? But anyway, I gave it a go and I was happy with the outcome. So all's well that ends well. And I didn't cut myself. Hooray! Woohoo! All right. Again, little bits that were not wanting to come off, but yeah, all done now. So now I'm coming to assembling my card, and I'm just adding a whole heap of Express-It foam tape, and I'm not going to bore you with how much I added. You'll see eventually how much I added, but I added quite a bit on the back because I don't want any of it sort of sagging in the middle. And then I just took off all of the release paper, which, is really easy to take off on this foam tape, and then adhered it to my card. So lining up the bottom on my work surface so that I know that everything is nice and straight, and press it down. Now with these pieces, I wanted them to sit up at exactly the same level as that white piece. So I just grabbed out my narrower roll of the same brand of foam tape, the Express-It foam tape. It's the same thickness as the previous one, it's just narrower. So these pieces required a little bit narrower. And I did have to do a little bit of cutting to make teeny tiny pieces for some of the bits. But got them all on in the end. Okay, so don't you think these little images from Lawn Fawn are just the cutest? They're just... absolutely perfect for baby cards. And yeah, I think most of the baby cards I've ever made have got these images on them. All right, for the sentiment, I didn't want anything complicated, so I pulled out my sentiment set from Hero Arts. It actually has a matching die that cuts all of them out at once. So it's called the Everyday Sentiment Strips, and the matching die cuts out all the strips at once. So all I had to do was stamp onto black cardstock, emboss with white ink, and then chop them all up, and I just keep them all in a little bag. So next time I need a sentiment, I can just go to the bag and see what I've got there. So that was really, really quick for today. Had them all ready to go. So that's my card for today. Thank you so much to everybody for watching. I hope you enjoyed. I hope you join in with Craft Roulette yourself and have fun with this week's parameters. And I hope to see you again next time. Bye.